This is a clouds weather alert.
Good Sunday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, coming on the air because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning toward Tallahassee. I know we also have strong thunderstorm activity in north central and northeast Florida here, and it did have a warning earlier on, but it wasn't impressive enough to come on with. As I was looking at some things, there was a velocity there in terms of that wind potential, and just didn't quite see enough, but definitely nasty out there. More rounds of severe weather potential and strong storm potential will be possible toward the east as we get throughout the day and even into toward the night here tonight. So we'll be watching for that very carefully here. As we look at things, but I know the reason that storm toward Tallahassee is more impressive is you see this area here of blue and yellow. Would that indicate energy here with the overall storm setup that could be more surface based? And toward that storm, we do have a few hundred joules per kilogram here. I know it kind of gets technical, but the point being is it's more likely that that gets down to the surface with wind damage potential and the like. As the accent toward the east, we have very low numbers, in some cases actually around zero, so it's harder for the storm to actually be able to produce all that potential that is visible here within some of the different products here. So in terms of those radar products. So let's go ahead and say here this warning toward Tallahassee. You can see midway there out toward State Road 20 in toward western Leon County. It's a pretty strong thunderstorm here. It's by itself. I know before they issued this warning, looked like we were getting a little bit of stronger wind action with it for a few frames there, as it was in eastern parts of Gadsden County. Then backing it up and then going forward with this, but this is also getting closer to the radar site, so it could be a little illusion. And again, the energy is here to some degree to be able to get some of this wind down toward the surface, possibly. So I know watching it here very carefully as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the situation. Now we had that time change last night as we Roy had a situation where Roy spun forward here with those clocks and hours. So I know folks, having to already get in the swing of things and having to get, into the swing of things with shower and thunderstorms around, not ideal. And this is a potentially severe thunderstorm here toward areas like Lake Bradford in the Big Bend region, Tallahassee State College, the Gaither Community Center, Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, the Walker Ford Community Center, Florida State University, and they're on spring break, by the way, South City, 8 Mile Pond, Griffin Heights, Bloxham, Tallahassee Airport, Midway, Governor Square Mall, Midtown, Appalachia Ridge Estates, Lake Talquin, in toward, it looks like the Maclay State Gardens area, as well as Indian Head Acres. So kind of giving you guys an idea of what's going on. There's flood advisory in place. I know we have a flood watch. You have to watch out here. I know we need the rain, but you don't want to get too much rain too quickly here. And I know as we get further back toward the east, things like that Bradford County Fair, I know it's not great to be getting this much rain this quick, even though we really do need the rain here. You just, don't want to have mud puddles here start to develop or something like that. I know where we have the strong thunderstorm action that's moved through pretty quickly here toward the east. We picked up over 3/4 of an inch of rain here within an hour, that's for sure. As we're looking at things, probably really within about 30 minutes here, as we're looking at the overall clock. So that kind of tells that story here. As we're tracking things, that's some pretty, heavy rainfall compared to what we've been seeing. So we do need the rain now. This in California, where if you had this much rain this quick, you'd have a mudslide or something. We're okay here in that regard. But my point being is still, kind of gloomy here, a bit of a deluge, but we do need the rain because of that wildfire risk. So we take the good here with the rain, with the bad, and that is kind of ruining some of those weekend plans here at points. And it is coming, it has to come down pretty quick. You got to stay safe on the roads. By the way, new warning toward the east now, so let's see what this is showing here. Oh wow, that's really intensifying. This is the strongest that we've had all day here because we didn't have anything like this without warning. We had out toward Columbia and Union earlier, and Baker and the like. I would have jumped on immediately. This is a strong signature. This is stronger than anything around Tallahassee as well now. We're seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds on radar pretty close to the surface. It's moving into a more populated area now in northern St. Johns County, so we need to get folks inside and away from windows here. I know we said, again, it'd be harder for this to be surface-based, but, you know, right on that edge there, right on that edge, I think that has a good chance of getting down because of the way that's intensifying on us here. Just over a few frames, that seems like, you know, that's the type of signature you would look for more, because I was looking, we didn't really have many power outages or anything like that. Just a few I noticed in Baker County, it seemed, with the warning earlier on, that just really wasn't looking too crazy considering the environment. But this here looks pretty nasty. Again, the strongest we've seen all day. Northern St. Johns County. This is just east of I-95. So northern St. John, southeastern Duval counties until 11:15 at 10:51 a.m. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Palm Valley to near Nocatee to near Bayard, moving east at 40 miles an hour. So Sawgrass, Nocatee, Durbin, San Pablo, South Ponte Vedra Beach, Palm Valley, Jacksonville Beach, South Ponte Vedra, Neptune Beach, and Bayard. They're under that warning. So again, this will be our now third warning in the morning. We posted about the first one there. Again, that one was, it was a kind of a squall line, but we didn't have all the parameters, didn't have all the velocity signatures or the hail signatures. Just didn't have, you know, a huge hail signature as penny size is what the warning's, you know, showing, so not much prompting, and just that wind signature. That is nasty here, folks. The way that's setting up, we don't always get them to show up that clearly here. This is headed right towards state, you know, State Road A1A here. So as we're looking at things, we're just trying to monitor the overall scenario here as the situation does evolve. We're just trying to keep you guys safe here. There was a gust of 41 at Mayport, but right here, this looks like it's capable of something a good bit worse here. I'm going to put some of our wind numbers on. You see, this is kind of what we had in Duval, and I suspect, you know, something similar toward the west here on some of the different sites, but we only had 15 here and about 6-7 feet off the ground. But I would not be surprised, you know, the sites that are there, you know, that are maybe more unofficial because you don't see numbers here, so we don't actually have any here. But the point being, it could be gust about 60 miles an hour on Sawgrass here. I know the Players Golf Tournament won't be until, you know, the period coming up. I think they might already have some events they were, you know, doing their, I'm sure to get ready, if nothing else, for that Players Championship in golf here, as we're looking ahead, you know, in golf, as we're looking ahead. So again, that's pretty nasty signature. Right there, northern St. Johns County, take shelter. I know we're kind of jumping off for some, you know, that area more toward Tallahassee, even though we've had some other accident around, but this area now is by far the most concerning. You need to take shelter. This is definitely going to cause some damage there around A1A, it would look like, because I think we have just enough energy in here. I'm going to double check another product just to make sure, but that's the type of signature that you don't need much energy for. I mean, we do have another energy measurement tool here, and it shows about 250 joules per kilogram. So, you know, that is, when you have a signature like that, it's not going to take much. I know that other tool shows Tallahassee with much more than that because it does even have some surface-based energy, but it doesn't take very much at all to get a signature like this down toward the surface. Since this is east of the interstate, I don't know if we have any cameras up. I'm going to look, because if we have some, I suspect they'll be pretty nasty looking here. This morning, though, it's church time as well, so this isn't, you know, ideal here for folks that have been heading on out as we're looking at things. It's nasty weather, especially already losing that hour of sleep here as we're looking at things. So let me go ahead, just looking toward A1A here on my cameras. Just checking here to see if we have anything in that Sawgrass area. I'm pretty sure we don't, but if we did, that really intensifying here. That's really intensifying right there near the coast. Yeah, we don't have anything there, but I'd almost be willing to guarantee you, this is about to get into the water now. I mean, I wouldn't be willing to guarantee you pretty much that we're going to have some type of wind damage. We're seeing winds about 65 miles an hour on radar right at the coast near Sawgrass. So I hope you took shelter there right around A1A. Folks may be vacationing for spring break and the like. We could see some downed trees. It could be happening right as I'm talking here at 10:57 in northern St. Johns County. Some downed trees, some down power lines and the like. That was a very significant signature. We haven't seen one like that here in Northeast Florida in quite a while, to be quite honest. I know they issued a warning here, and that just really, tells the story. It started really getting its head together in Southeast Duval, maybe, right after it got past there, right near I-95, but then the warning coming right after, and then you see how nasty that is. Because the thing is, where I have my mouth, that's showing on our wind product and radar. The radar can measure, the types, really of levels of how heavy precip is, but it can also measure wind potential here, and we're seeing these yellows indicate 60 plus mile-an-hour winds in northern parts of St. Johns County, a pretty highly populated area around Sawgrass. I suspect, some things are going to be blown over. Hopefully it's not going to be too impactful for the golf tournament here coming up this week. At least they're not out there now. That could be, life threatening if that was happening during the golf tournament in terms of people that were, having to take shelter. I mean, it still can, be life threatening in some ways, but my point being is folks were having to take, shelter there, so many of them, quickly in like a more temporary type of way there with, maybe not enough space for everybody per se to get in the most interior room, and could have had even more problems. I could have if we have anything like that later on. I know you see the logo is red again. We have this nasty accent to get through here, but we also have a big weather maker toward the west, toward the center part of the country toward Friday, and then getting further down toward the east and south on Saturday, but west of our area still at that point. But that's gonna be a big deal coming up. We gotta get through this. This just went off the coast, so the worst of this at least there's still some heavy downpours in here, but the worst of the wind was right on that edge. I have a feeling that we're gonna have a decent amount of damage in northern St. John's, with that type of wind there. But let's get back over toward Leon County for now, since we have that warning over there coming right into Ward Town, and we're right at the radar, so it's gonna be harder to see exactly what's going on here as we're looking at things in toward Leon County and Tallahassee. But let's see here. I'll see if we can get some traffic cameras up. It may not be showing the absolute worst part of things, but I'm gonna try to pull up some Florida 511 views from Leon County there. We'll try to do that, so bear with me here as we look at the system. See if we can get anything here for you, as the situation does transpire. We'll go ahead and pop up a few there. I'm just close to, mile marker 200 on I-10. We'll go ahead and switch modes here and go ahead and display that in just 1 second. Here you go. As we continue to look at that, definitely showing some of slick roads and the like. So when you first have the rain, start to fall, that's when the oils can start to be mixing with that rain and make it a little bit more of a vulnerable scenario here for some accidents. So gotta keep that in mind here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the situation. So as I look out toward the Big Bend region here, and let me give you another look at some things here in the Weather Center on radar. We'll go ahead and say here our marginal risk of severe weather. This is, unlike when we have a line come through like what we've seen lately toward the west, we have that come through, then it fizzles to the east, and we're going to have multiple, many rounds of storms. Some will be more, dangerous than others here. Some will be probably severe. Some won't be here, with some of the activity. But you see that marginal risk, that dark green, that's going to, be a threat here, at least in the eastern zones, all the way maybe until close to almost sunrise tomorrow. So this is going to be a long-term event here, folks. As you see the tornado risk, we haven't hit anything that's zoned too crazy with that yet, but that's more in that green zone. Hail risk gets more into Georgia as well, and in your wind risk, you see it confined again more into mostly the Florida zone. So again, I'm going to be paying attention very carefully to all this here. This isn't something we can just come on, have a line come through and be all good. This is a, on and off type of thing here. It's not, that's the most, potent system we've ever seen, but you got to be careful. I know in 2020 and 2021, we had pretty low risk overall for severe weather, there in the month of December. And if you guys know where I'm going with this, we ended up having tornadoes with severe thunderstorm warning, mind you, in play toward Bradford County. Both of those tornadoes in that month, there, one in 2020 and one in 2021, were both in severe thunderstorm warnings, and both in a overall low risk. I mean, something similar to this in some regards. So we need to pay attention here. We need to be monitoring things. As we look, I know we had a gust of 44 there at Mayport a little while ago. As we're looking at things, and I suspect we had stronger winds there on Sawgrass, though. That looked potent on radar, very potent on the Doppler technology, on the velocity mode of the Doppler technology. So let me go and keep looking at things here, keep tracking, keep giving you guys the latest updates. I want to go ahead and look outside where we're at. We just had 3/4 of an inch of rain here within a half an hour time frame. So you see, it looks like it's getting a little brighter though, because we're kind of in between some of the accent now. But you saw some of that dripping there going on. So I know, but it was getting bright enough. It was kind of messing with our camera mode because it's set. It's a little bit more fixed where it has to be a little bit darker. Sometimes to get the best imagery, and that I was looking at before we came on here, watching, making sure we didn't jump in real quick or anything, and it was, a little bit more dramatic. You could see some of the, the downpours. It wasn't enough. Again, the wind wasn't enough to be on because, severe criteria means wind or hail. And in terms of a severe thunderstorm warning, we didn't meet those here. But definitely heavy downpours, some lightning around, and of course severe can also mean tornadic activity. I don't think we've had anything like that here so far, but we have to watch. And some of these storms out toward the west here, if they get, in a more favorable environment too, I'll have to make sure they don't start to rotate, because there's enough of, some of those parameters around here to be a cause for some concern. You see supercell composite here. As we're looking at things, it's not overwhelming. The tornado parameter isn't overwhelming, like what we'd have with just a big squall line, but this stuff's more isolated too, so it can take advantage easier of the conditions. We do have some energy there towards some of the Big Bend, and that, is why this is, caught my eye here. And we could have some, damaging winds around Tallahassee right now for sure, in the state capitol and the like. That's not out of the question. I know FSU baseball, made plans there, and and had that game there against Lipscomb canceled here today. Just not going to be able to maybe get that one in there here on this Sunday because of the overall nasty weather conditions. So that's kind of the storyline there as we're looking at things. And, it's going to be on and off here with the storminess here as we're looking ahead and toward the timeline. So, as we continue to watch here, continue to track, let me go ahead and see what else I might want to pull up here. I know we have this other warning to the east, but the worst of the wind actions gotten off the coast here on Sawgrass, and the like here as we're looking at things. As we're tracking them, we're just going to keep paying attention now for sure as the situation does transpire for more of that to become an issue. We're 63 here east is dark. You see 70 around Palatka, but didn't really see anything too crazy with that when I was looking a moment ago. when I was looking a moment ago at some of this activity, but I'm just gonna keep checking things here on wind mode. Not showing anything too crazy with that toward the south. Let me go ahead and see what else we might have here. Let me go ahead and put our rainfall amounts. So yeah, we're, this is going to go from, well, I guess 10 p.m. last night with the old time to 11 a.m. this, morning with the new time. It's 12 hours, but, and then it gets a little confusing here right now. It's, 10 p.m. standard time last night to 11 a.m. Daylight time here this morning. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. That's the rainfall estimate. So this is kind of telling a story about what has fallen here so far overall. But as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the overall scenario and the like, you can see here in Bradford County, and this is undergoing a little bit, quite honestly, but it's 7.5 inches around Stark. We've actually picked up, over 3/4 of an inch here where I'm at here in Bradford County. So again, just continuing to track everything here for you and the like as, we go ahead and keep giving you the latest updates here on what's going on. Let me go ahead and see what else I might want to kind of give you here in terms of information. Of course, we're in Bradford County watching things for the 62 counties. Always on for any tornado warning storms moving through the area here over the last 5+ years, and many severe thunderstorm warnings as well. And if we have some flash flood warnings, may have to pop in for those here too. If at the minimum here, we'll be posting about all the different alerts that come out for any tornado warnings. We'll be on for. Been watching all, that potential here. Haven't seen anything like that yet, transpire. There's no watch and play here as we're looking at things or anything to that regard. Not organizing up for that, but it's going to be a pretty long, period here of some threats. We got to pay attention. By the way, they've canceled the warning, had the Tallahassee office, no other service office for Leon. So we're out of warnings here for the moment. So that's good. And if those trends, continue, we'll wrap things up here shortly. Again, it's a longer term thing though. This isn't a one and done here. Like sometimes when the line comes through, it'll be on for a while and then it's over. Just isn't like that. This is something you can get a lot of time. This period of the year, it's just really hadn't, been something we have seen here so far too much. But we're watching it right now again on here as needed for severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings. Like what we've just been on with severe thunderstorm warning activity. But again, just keeping you guys informed here on everything on all the different platforms: Facebook, Twitter, /X, YouTube, Twitch. There, and on the website has all the different links available. So again, just trying to let you guys know here. I know the word, Gadsden County already a few inches. Again, we need to rain. We don't want that much, that is happening that quick. This is 1 hour. It's at least an inch. So it's not terrible. There's no flash flood warning. We have seen some flood advisories and the like, though. But at least that warning got dropped for Leon for the time being. That's always good to see. But we'll continue to watch the trends here. As we look, you see in the word parts of Putnam County, there's a little bit of maybe, at least in the reflectivity product, a little bit of strengthening. I may get an advisory down that way for some, gusty winds that are below 60, which 60 miles an hour, that is a severe limit. So not quite seeing that right now, I wouldn't think. As we continue to watch, I know it looks like the Eglin radar right now is down, unfortunately, but Leon County's radar here, the Tallahassee radar is working. I suspect they didn't have many reports at all with wind around Tallahassee, is why they dropped that warning, because, it was trying to strengthen on approach, but kind of fell off as it got closer, which was definitely some good news. But we're just going to have to keep on tracking things here. Heard his information as a few moments ago from Paradise.us. 1,226 customers in the dark. Actually 75 in Bradford showing up here. 74 on Clay Electric. And 1 on FP&L, Florida Power and Light. And it's not going to track anything that could be out in the city historic on that, though, in that total. But let me see if I have any information on anything like that. Bear with me here. Give me just one moment. I'll see if we have any. I don't at least see anything about lines being down in the incident reports. That's good. Again, we didn't really see a lot in Bradford to have to jump on info, even though we had a lot of downpour activity there, around that 10:30 a.m. mark. But I'm continuing to look at things. I see 187 customers and in the dark there in Columbia County. Let me go ahead and jump to a broader perspective here on all this. We have 38 in the dark in Union County. I see only one in St. John's, but I suspect that, let me see here, that seems like that may not be the latest. I'd be really surprised if we just had one in the dark. That was one of the stronger wind signatures, we've seen here in a while, quite honestly, in northeast Florida. I know we've seen stuff out in the west, the Big Bend, southwest Georgia, but that around Sawgrass was impressive. That signature, not in a great way. For a few minutes, it looked like damage and winds were likely, which Roy didn't get. The winds, I know we said that some of them factor in instability, but, Jacksonville, very few power outages on JEA, which is great news, obviously. Only 38 on all of JEA in terms of customers affected. That's really low, because even, you don't even have to have a warning. Sometimes you'll get more than that. So, that's good, at least as we're looking, but I suspect we'll have more than that around that Sawgrass area as we continue to look at things. But maybe with that instability lacking, might have really held things a little bit better. We'll find out here. It sometimes takes a little bit to get that information. Sometimes it's a little delayed here as we're looking at things, as they're tracking. Let me see if whether it's at Jacksonville, if there's any reports in another source. I'm also going to check. Let me see here. Our reports from the public, the MPN report, I don't see anything on that, so that's good. Again, we did see the instability was lacking. I just, that looked like enough wind to kind of push past that a little bit around Sawgrass. So again, just continuing to track things here. Bear with me. Just to make sure there's no reports here that I'm missing. Okay, not seeing anything at the moment, but again, gonna keep on checking things here. Gonna keep on monitoring the overall scenario. After we, kind of wrap up, the coverage of these warnings that we've been seeing over the last little bit, I'm gonna wrap the stream up for the time being. You can go to clutterther.com/radar for an interactive look at things when I'm not on the air, but this stuff's gonna be so hit and miss here, and more hit than miss, don't get me wrong. It's just, we'd have to keep stuff going for a day here for what's technically a marginal 1 out of 5 risk. So we'll be popping in as needed when we have the concerns, come back up again here. But I'm gonna stay on a few more minutes because there's quite a bit going on here overall. I don't see anything near the Sawgrass. If you guys have any damage report to this TPC Sawgrass area there, let me know, because there's some nasty, nasty weather there that has, moved on through there over the last little bit with some of that, some of that overall wind action. So, again, I'm just trying to give you guys all those latest details. Let me go ahead and take the radar off because, again, there's a lot going on here. And, the times will be different now since it changed with these risk outlooks updating. Normally, it'd have been updating here pretty soon, but it'll actually be probably another hour before we get an update on this. I don't think they're going to go up, but I'll check on some things here. Because when I was looking last night, some of our forecasts, the parameters, it seemed like actually, it might be pretty late in like tonight before we really see a bigger threat come into play here with the overall severe criteria potentially being met, which causes, once you get the higher wind, that's when you have more damage potential. So again, we see some lightning around still. That's where we have the different strikes going on here. Let me put our infrared satellite on. we'll kind of give you guys a look at what's happening with that. You see some of, those cloud tops here that, are trying to get a little bit colder. They're not, like a tropical system or anything, though, or even a squall line, but I know pressure-wise, we're at 1,017 millibars for east to start. We had lower earlier in the week, but I do see something else going on here, and it's not necessarily set up too much. There is a fog advisory toward the coast there, south of Tallahassee. So that's something you don't always see this time of day. I mean, so you got to be kind of careful there. There's fog advisory for Apalachicola and some of those surrounding zones until 1 o'clock. So could have quarter mile or less of visibility. So got to be careful on the roads there for sure as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the scenario. I know, just trying to keep you guys informed. There's also new significant advisory now, so let me go ahead and pull, this action up. 40-mile-an-hour winds possible down in this sector of the region, Palaca, St. Augustine, that vicinity at least. And go back to the fog topic. It was 2.5-mile visibility a moment ago at Keystone. Now still in 2 miles on our source behind the scenes. They had some mist there now. The report is, I put the icon on, it's not showing up. It's more, just a mist. It's not going to show up on that. But the point being here, be careful on the roads here this morning between, some reduced visibility, even when it's not raining, and some slick spots and the like here. I know with the adder of sleep lost for a lot of folks here too. So, it could play a role in some, vehicle accidents. It is Sunday, not Monday, so there's not going to be maybe as much of a rush on the road. But still, tomorrow morning, we could still have some wet spots on the road for that morning commute if it's not actively raining. Let me go ahead and go to the model guidance now. We have, quite a few different things we've been trying to nail down. Let me go to the model guidance here, and we'll try to give you guys the latest details here on all of that. So this is what the guidance is on for now. It's actually not, picking up great on this here. Some of the models, when we have the squall line, they can really, get a good idea of what could happen, simulate that well. But I isn't exactly simulating that all that well here. So, we have to kind of be careful. It makes it a little harder to get too definitive on the forecast because, that is what the model's showing for now. This is what the radar actually showing. So, I mean, it's showing some things that are similar, but there's, discrepancies. We're not seeing any of that action like Cross City, Lake City right now. It is all dry in that corridor here pretty much. So, we're just going to have to wait and see. So this is, I'll run it out here because it gives you a general idea of what could happen. It says more activity toward the east. Some of that, at least here on this mode, doesn't look, as robust. Maybe we'll see. It's possible, we don't, have enough that's, robust enough to get more warnings here for a while. We do have a flood watch in play, though, so you got to be careful with the precipitation part of things. When I say warnings, I mean more convective warnings, like severe thunderstorm warnings, or even a road tornado warning can't be ruled out. But this is 2 o'clock here, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 20Z. By the way, if you guys are used to that's another time factor that we use here in the meteorology world. But with the time change, we're now shifted back to the ones we use a little bit more of the year. But 20Z here and 21Z, which is 5 p.m. You can see here, I'm going to take off the temperature, but I'll leave the current lighting up. I know you see some action west of Tallahassee. Again, this does not seem like it's handling things great, maybe, but it shows more of a intensification here as we get closer to 6, 7 o'clock, more organization maybe, and that really lingers. I mean, that really looks nasty there, for a bit there, and then it kind of falls off maybe at points maybe. But then you see some of this is actually still lingering all the way closest to 6, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, all the way up to the morning commute. So I have to wait and see. I'm going to pull up on my other mode. I can't pull the parameters in the forecast up on here, but I wanted to see what they're showing because, that honestly didn't look quite as crazy as some of the models had looked earlier, but that still actually adds up to a lot of rain. because, as I'm going to look at some things here on my other source that I can't see you guys. I'm going to back this up to about, 6, we'll make it 5 a.m. Or no, okay, that is 6 a.m. because of the time change with that. But as we're kind of looking, it will amount to a good bit of precip. I mean, we're talking about 2, 3, 4 inches. Because this one run here, I'm going to run it out. And in the counts we had now, 3/4 of an inch. But this one run here is giving us around like Laldi here, for instance, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. Actually 6 inches there is in that run. I don't think it's, going to be, something where we have maybe that much here in some of these spots. But it tells the idea, it gives you the idea that we could have multiple inches of rain. So you got to be kind of mindful of that here. That's within the next, 20 hours or so as we're looking at things. So again, that's kind of the storyline there. I'm going to check our severe parameters. I just want to go ahead and look at that here behind the scenes. Again, I had the model guidance up for tomorrow morning. If you're wondering what I'm showing you guys, if you guys are kind of wondering what the storyline is there, I know it's really, showing intensification and parameters here late tonight. So we have to be paying attention to that here as we're tracking things. I know really the parameters, a lot of them have been further away. So, and maybe around, excuse me, around 4 o'clock or so, around Tallahassee, maybe some of those parameters starting to pick up some, and then maybe, for a while, another lull with the parameters at least, and then things after around midnight tonight started to take off from about Stark down toward, maybe Marion County, or even further south of our area where we have decent, parameters in those last, even to Central Florida here, past sunrise tomorrow, south of our area. So that'll be something to watch for here for sure as we're looking at things, as we're tracking things. Again, this is not a one and done type of scenario. Multiple rounds, because that's what the radar could look like tomorrow morning when you're about to get out for that morning commute. But this is going to be what the radar looks like right now. So I'm going to pull that. You just saw it pull back in there on our source. So that's kind of storyline there. Let me go ahead and pull up some of the winds. You see kind of, we have, the boundary here. And you can see the winds here. This is, the focal point for the activity when you have a boundary like this around. I mean, it kind of tells a story because you see the winds, they're coming from, the east or the northeast further toward the north. But then as we're looking toward like the Big Bend coast, they're coming from the southeast. And that is indicative here of a stationary front. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We have in the region. So again, we're just continuing to track this. Let me go ahead and check on some more information. I'm going to take the power outage numbers again. I want to check some of that information again here. See if we have anything out of St. Johns County. You can see up to 4 customers in the dark down. Again, surprising not higher than that. It'd be good if it wasn't, though. And then Leon County, 790 customers in the dark there, though. They, have a situation. There's so many trees there that, it doesn't take much to get a power outage here or there. That's according to PowerOutage.us. But let me check the actual detailed information here from City of Tallahassee. City of Tallahassee, their numbers here right now in terms of those outages, with the, wind and play, ever here to like. We have 85 customers there in the dark in toward that area. Oh, in the City of Tallahassee Electric. Now, that's the latest number. And then Talquin, it was showing about 700 in Leon, but let me see the latest number because sometimes it updates a little quicker. Some of the other sources, 775 customers in the dark on the Talquin grid, which says, include more than just Leon County. So, again, that's kind of the storyline there. As we continue to watch, as we continue to track, Just continuing to give you guys the latest information here on exactly what was taking place. Let me go ahead and check some other radar views here. We'll go back and look here toward the west. You see there, Washington County storm with some lightning, maybe a little bit of hail there, and then you see east of Tallahassee. And not much wind energy at all in that storm axis, and they're on Waukeenable, watching Jefferson County. Then further off toward east, we have some advisories that have been in play here. You know, focal point is more this southern one now, and the advisory, not a warning, and the wind energy says maybe the potential to gust to around 40 miles an hour. So not, you know, that 60-mile-an-hour criteria. Maybe we see some heavy rain, and like our 995 there is, you know, right there near, looks like State Road 206 as you're going maybe out there toward Crescent Beach and the like. And they're not the greatest beach weather right now, but continuing to track things here. You know, definitely some, you know, heavy downpours in the vicinity. We picked up your East Historic 0.82 inches of rain today, so a little less than an inch right now. Things clearing out for the time being. So, you know, if you have some of those outdoor activities with Gator Nationals, I know with this rain, it's not great. And let me see if there's any updates there that I can find right off the top, because, you know, so many events here. Let me see if there's anything in terms of anything that I can see. I don't see anything right at the top, but I'm sure there's been some different, you know, changes, you know, in some shape or form to things that are outdoors here like that. I know we have the Bradford County Fair here. You know, that's winding on down, and this is a situation here where I know it got pretty wet, but hopefully they are able to kind of persevere and try to finish it on up here with this, you know, dry time that we're going to have. It's uncertain exactly how long that'll happen, you know, and last for, you know, but again, we're just going to continue to track it here, continue to give you the very latest. So, let me see if there's anything here that I can find in the Bradford County Fair. I know there'll be a second one here later this year, the way where they're doing it there. I'm just checking the information. I know some folks posting there on Bradford County Word of Mouth, you know, maybe a little bit of power outage issues around Lodi. But other folks say they have power, you know, in contrast to maybe around 125 without power up points. And again, just continue to track things. I don't really see anything about changes that I can find readily available, but you know, just, you know, right now you see the drier conditions around, so that should help with things here as we're tracking the overall situation. You know, try to take advantage of the dry time here. I know later on, I showed you in the model, and it looked like a lot of rain will be coming on in here as we look ahead in the time. I've already had 3/4 of an inch, so that's a deluge here per se in how it fell in that short period of time. Again, we need the rain. We really need the rain, and we got some rain because, you know, that wildfire threat's so, you know, dangerous. You know, we don't want it to fall when there's events and the like, and on a weekend. But with the rain, you know, if we can, you know, get it without warnings here, you know, mostly we have so far. We've seen a few, but you know, without too much damage around, and it's important to get that, because if we don't get the rain, we're just gonna have wildfires. You know, that threat would have gotten worse and worse, like what we've seen, you know, going back here maybe, you know, 15 to 20 years ago, and in the 90s as well. That, you know, I wasn't here in the late 90s, but you know, I was here for that threat around 15, 20 years ago, and that was not fun. And this type of rain, I hope to, you know, put a, you know, a real, you know, better look at things here in terms of maybe kind of decrease that wildfire threat. So I think that pretty much does it for now. I'm just trying to make sure we don't have any new information coming in. I know, some folks at church and the like here, and this weather has calmed down here for the time being. So that's good news, but we'll continue to watch. We'll continue to track. I don't see too many outages at all in St. Johns County right now. It's, again, that surprises me some, but we'll continue to watch things. We'll continue to track them. Of course, we have the, weather to get through for now and the like here, but let me really quickly, because we haven't talked too much about it yet, we haven't really got too much into it, but let me go ahead and kind of look at some of the model guidance as we get later on into the week here, because we could have a big severe weather event in the country, as we look ahead. When we start off around Thursday the 13th, we're going to have some more action ahead of that too, as you kind of see there. This is the model guidance as we're, late Wednesday and Thursday. You see some stuff to the west. We were thinking maybe a threat around here on Thursday, part of the area, but that didn't really show it too much now, so that's good. We'll continue to monitor trends, but you'll see as we look toward the center part of the country on the 14th, on Pi Day, ironically here, we have just a, decent amount of action start to develop. It doesn't look as potent as it probably will, if you were looking at this on a different mode. You see the low pressure kind of up there to the north, if you know how meteorology works with that, that overall signature there and the like up to the north, and then you have the trailing action could have a lot of favorable, conditions for severe potential. You see even toward like Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama as we get there in toward like the 15th there, and even the 16th, you see some of that maybe weaker, but trying to make its way toward our area. So that'd be next Sunday there, but it'd be probably a little weaker, but it could be a big deal this, late weekend and the weekend further to the west and north as well. So a lot going on here. I know they are sending out a mesosphere discussion now. Is the Weather Prediction Center about the flash flooding potential. Flash flood risk continues across North Florida and adjacent areas of southern Georgia. So, some areas here need to watch as, heavy rates of maybe 1 to 2 inches an hour at point. Occasionally they'll fall on wet soils here, and that can promote some localized runoff. So, you gotta be kind of mindful of that. So, we're always watching things on all the different platforms here. Facebook, Casey Cloud, X Cloud Weather, Twitter /X at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather. Know when we're on live, you can back it up on that mode using the DVR functionality. Yeah, Twitch, Cloud Weather, and cloudweather.com. So that's going to do it for now. We'll be back here as conditions warrant, later on, in the day or night or either early tomorrow. But we're going to be here to protect you, your friends, and your family. And if we don't need to be actually on with live coverage, we'll be posting about it there on the different platforms, Facebook and then Twitter /X. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your Sunday the best you can while we're in between those areas of moisture in terms of, like Stark and the like. If you're in between them, enjoy your Sunday the best you can for now. And then when you have the downpour around, you got to stay dry and stay informed here, as things could try to, intensify once again at points. And we'll be keeping you guys up to date. But for now, have a great day.